Welcome back to my channel. This is Venus from Heart's Desire by Venus, and today we're working on the second installment of my flip book using supplies from your stash. Last video we made this base of our flip book journal out of old file folder. So we created this base. This time around I'm going to show you, if I can get it over there, how to make these little flips. Little flip pockets. You could use them as pockets or you can use them as just flips. It's up to you. But I'm going to show you how I made those out of envelopes. Now we've all probably got a set of those envelopes. They came with the card bases and envelopes. And I've got tons of these. So I'm going to show you how I created that pocket. So we're going to put our pocket, you can see I did one here in the first section, and I did one here in the third section. So we're going to do the one right here in the middle, and we're going to attach it in here. Let's see, this one's a little trickier because I did these ones on the side, so we're just going to attach it probably in about here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to create our base here. So this one, I'm just going to do a quick measure. Whatever your base is, you know, do it however you want to mat it. But this one is going to be 8 by 5. And you want to have your base not attached to this because we're going to attach our flip page to that. And then we're going to put it in the book. So I said 8 by 5. So I'm using To Everything Give Thanks journal kit from LineDotArrow. And this is a beautiful kit. I'm just using that as my base here. I picked out one of the pages. And I said it was 8 by 5. So I'm just going to trim this down to 5 by 8. It's going to be tricky here because I'm going to have to cut off part of this. I think I'll cut off from the bottom. All right, so then that's my base for my page. I'm going to just ink it up a little bit just to take some of that starkness off. Don't want to see any of that white cardstock once it's on my book. All right, so then we will be stitching around this, but we're going to do that after. I'm going to also round my corner. I'm using the 1/2 inch corner chomper on this one. And again, I'm just going to distress that edge a little bit there. Okay, so with that being done, we're going to attach this pocket onto here. But before we do that, we're going to cut this so that it actually will make 2 flaps. So what I did, get you in the screen here, is I just lined up the point of my envelope. You could measure this exactly in half, but that's just too technical for me. So I'm just going to eyeball it here. So I've measured it, I've lined it all up, and basically you're going to cut right up till this part of your envelope here, because you want this to be the part that's going to secure it all underneath your mat. So I've done that, and then I'm going to make these pockets. If you weren't going to make them pockets, you would miss this step. But because I do want them to be pockets, I'm going to just take off, it's like 1/16 of an inch. I'm just taking a sliver to open the end of that envelope so that it can become a pocket. So now when I open this up, this is what it looks like. And you've got your slit down the middle. So at this point, I am going to secure these 2 parts down, because I don't want that to get in the way. So I'm just going to use my two-sided tape if I could find the end here. And I'm just going to, you can tape it, you could glue it, either or. But I'm going to just do a fine line of tape here. Peel these off. And I'm just going to secure it down. Okay. And do the same thing for the other side. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I want to be able to secure this to here. So because I'm going to stitch all the way around, at this point, I am just going to put a couple of pieces of tape to hold it in place while I do my stitching. So I'm not too concerned about it being a super hold because I will get there. Now you could put this at the top, you could put this at the bottom, or you could, you know, right in the middle. I am just going to eyeball it for the middle here. Okay, make sure that you can flip your flaps, if that's such a thing as flipping your flaps. So now I've got these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mat two pieces on here to create your pocket, because at this point you can see you put a tag in, it could fall out. So I'm just going to measure these up. You can use any size envelope for these. These just happen to be the size I had. So I need two mats that are 3 by 4 1/4. Actually, I need 4 mats because you do all 4 sides, but 3 by 4 1/4. So I'm just going to do that right now. I'm taking another paper here from her kit. 3 by 4 1/4. So I got 1, 2, and I'll cut another piece 4 1/4 by 3. All right. So now you can see these will go right on here. But before I do anything else, I want to stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around all 4 of my cards, and I'm going to stitch around here. This is my base. So I'm going to do all that, and then I will come back on camera. All right, so I'm back. So as you can see, I've stitched all the way around my base, and I've stitched all the way around all 4 of my cards. Now, here's the tricky part. You got to make sure when you glue this down that you're not sealing this part off, or your insert will only be able to go, you know, to here, and you don't want that. So trust me, I've done this mistake. So make sure when you're gluing, you only tape right on the edge. So this is where I use my two-sided tape, just straight on the edge, and then up the 2 sides, leaving the middle open. Okay, so I should say on all 4 sides, leaving it open. Now I kind of eyeball it because that's where it's going to go. Make sure you do it the right way. So then I'm just going to put a piece of tape right over this way, and I will use some glue on this gap. You want to keep this kind of open so that you can get your item in the pocket. Trust me, I've done it a couple of times where I've glued it right in, and then it's now a flap then instead, which is okay, but that's not what I intended. So just going to use some glue to secure the little bits here, and then I'm going to glue this in position, and then just burnish it down. And I'm going to do that with the top one, which I think, don't want that one, I think that one, same thing. Tape it all up. Now don't forget to hit the like button as well as subscribe, and then you will catch all the videos that I do in this series, because I am hoping that we can use up a lot of our stash by the time we're done this series. We've all got things that we've kept, and you know, oh, I'll use those, and then you know what, I've got a pile of things that I've either used a little bit of for projects or I haven't actually gotten around to using. So that's what has inspired this series. So hopefully you will use up some of your stuff and maybe come up with some new ideas for using up all your other stuff out of this. Okay, so again, I'm just going to glue it down. And I'm going to burnish it. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So you get the idea of it. You don't need to see me do both sides, but I'm also going to round my corners here just to give it a look. So now I'll mount the other ones after, but now we're going to insert it into my book. And that one is going to go right here. Okay, so all you have to do is glue that down, which I will do quickly here so that you can see. Again, you can use two-sided tape or glue, one or the other, or both, like I'm doing. Totally up to you, whichever way you feel more comfortable. And I'm just going to put one down the middle. Burnish this up. I am still going to put some wet glue in the middle here because I just want it to be sturdy with this flap going on. So in this journal, I've put 3 such flaps in there. So, I mean, that's only 3 envelopes, but that's a start. You will be able to figure out how you could use more of them like that. But I just thought it was a nice, easy way to use up some stash, but get some nice pockets of flaps in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue it in its spot, which this is the spot I'm going to glue it. Make sure I don't glue it upside down. Get it in there level. Burnish it. Perfect. And now you've got these pockets. So I'm just going to glue on these parts after, but it will look like this. Whereas you can put your tags in. I've just put some little tags in there, and it adds another feature to your book. All right, so that is it for today's installment. I'm just going to glue my other stuff in, and I will catch up with you next time with another episode. Thanks for coming out. Don't forget to check out all my other videos in the journal tips here and see if there's something else that you could use for your project. Thanks, and have a great day.